are stage 4, day 1 of the Buff Dude Superhero Plan. It's time for power. Pow! 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 And I think we're both a little bit nervous. I don't know about you, but 2020 has been a little weird, and we just got over a whole bunch of fires in Oregon. Thankfully, the smoke is now gone, but I don't know where I was going with that. It was just an excuse.
To do with the power phase.
It was just an excuse not to do the power phase, but the smoke's gone, so we have no more excuses. Let's get it done.
Yeah. So really focusing on the quickness of the pull, it being a deadlift, you really don't have that stretch reflex like you would in, let's just say, a squat, where you're bringing yourself down to the bottom position, the muscle's stretching, and you kind of use that energy that you build up from that stretch position to spring back up to top position. With deadlifts, you're starting from the dead position, so it's really how much strength you can conjure up without using that stretch reflex, without having that stored up energy. You have to just power right through it. Muscles have to contract, use a lot of energy to push yourself to top position. And yeah, it definitely helps quite a bit in those strength areas to be able to pull that much weight from a dead position, and it takes quite a bit out of you. So that's why we're really focused on this, because of course with power, it is moving weight with speed. So we're looking forward to gaining some power, baby.
You may have noticed Brandon's new look he's got going on. He's actually experimenting with a new style. It's called the Buff Kurt Cobain Caveman. You may have noticed we got a nice new piece of equipment here. Yeah, it makes racking and unracking the deadlifts a hell of a lot easier. We're kind of like, the dudes that buy all the shoes. We're that way, except we're with fitness equipment.
I was also thinking that since we're getting older, it's less work for us. We don't just have to pick the weight up. You get a little lazier as you get older.
Yeah, it's not lazy. It's just
you work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, exactly. It's a quality of life improvement.
True. Up next, we have the high pulls, and this exercise is definitely a very power-specific movement, because this particular positioning and exercise is used to kind of train you into creating a lot of power in your hips. And this is pretty much the starting point of like a clean and press or a hang clean or anything that's bringing the bar up, and then you're flipping it into the clean position. But instead of getting into the clean position, we're just doing the high bar pull. So you're just pulling up to here, kind of getting used to using a lot of that hip action. So with this, we have the bar set up here, and you pretty much want to get just about hip width or slightly wider stance. You're grabbing the bar a little bit wider than shoulder, bring it up to the top position. So this is the starting position. You're gonna flex in your hips, you're gonna bring it down, and you're going to extend your hips and knees and pretty much fully extend even in your ankles as well, and create that power. So you kind of get used to it by doing this here, power, hips, and then boom, that's the high pull. So a lot of the power in the hips here. Getting that full extension. And of course this is gonna lead into the clean. So, the high pulls. Now, since it is a very ballistic kind of movement, you have to be a little bit careful with it. So do practice with lighter weight, slowly work into the heavier weights as you get more comfortable and as you gain that strength. But this movement is gonna be very essential to be able to learn and get down, and then that way you can move on to a little bit more of the complex movements. So the high pull is a good one. PLYO push-ups. One of our favorite actually, and it's our favorite because it builds a lot of strength and power in the chest. As you can see, you're accelerating your body off of the floor and catching yourself in an elevated position. As you can see, we stacked 3 plates on top of each other. Gives it about a little over a foot off the ground or so, but work into it. Obviously, if you don't have the strength for that, just go a little bit of a smaller box or maybe some books or whatever you can do, and slowly work up into a higher position, and that's gonna really test yourself. So you can always push yourself in different ways, but
some exercises just make you feel more powerful, and these are definitely one of them. And that can be great because sometimes it's the psychological, the mental aspect of it. When you feel powerful, you're more prone to try and increase that power. Sometimes when you feel a little bit nervous about doing something for the first time, you take it a little bit slower, which is definitely a good thing to do, but it's always good to throw in those movements where you just feel damn good right off the bat.
See, the hair, having longer hair always makes it more exciting. Cause it's like, adds the power. Cable pulls, as you can see, it's kind of a unique movement, unique exercise. And something like this, you're really focusing on knee extension. As you can see, when you're walking back, your knee is forced to extend to push you backwards, to walk backwards. So a lot is gonna be in the quads. And then of course, when you're letting the weight back, you're gonna have to hold on to that, kind of that force of pull. So you have to use a little bit of the balance in there and stability. Of course, keep your shoulders nice and tight and back to stabilize your upper body as well. So, and a little bit in the hips and the glutes, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely a good one.
Looking at this exercise, you may not really see it, but actually is really fun to perform. It's a lot like the PLYO push-ups. And of course, the faster you go, you really feel like you're marching forwards and backwards. You're really feeling that activation in your quads. And one thing you do gotta make sure, especially if you're in a public gym, you gotta watch out behind you because, you know, that could be bad. If you and the guy doing walking lunges clash,
that's like an unstoppable force against an unmovable object.
The world has actually never seen it happen before. Don't be the first.
Mid-balls and hams, booga booga. It's all about getting that caveman out of you, out of your system, which I did. That was pretty cool. Just slam as hard as you can. You're lifting up above, using a lot of the lats, the chest, shoulders, abs, legs. It's a pretty good full body workout. And of course, a lot in that power. So you want to kind of lift it up and then slam that motherfucker down. Yeah.
And this really truly is a power exercise. In fact, you need to generate enough power so that when you slam it down, it has just enough bounce so you can easily pick it back up and continue the motion. Because you don't want to throw it, have it kind of thud, roll off, and then you got to go pick it up. It destroys the momentum. So you really want to bring it up, slam it, have it bounce up a little bit, just enough to grab it again, and rinse and repeat. Do the 8 reps. You're gonna feel pretty damn good doing this one. This ball right now is thinking, what the hell did I ever do to you guys?
PLYO, med ball, sit-ups. So you're not only using your abdominals to really crunch yourself up into the top position, but you're also throwing the med ball up in the air, catching it, decelerating the weight to the bottom position, and then going again. So there's kind of a lot to this, and it makes it a little bit harder when you don't put your feet under something and anchor your feet. So you really have to use that core stabilization throughout the whole movement. This is definitely an awesome one, and as you know, of course, core is an essential part of everything, really. So if you have a strong core, it's only gonna radiate into other movements and make sure you're very stable, you're very strong, and feeling damn good. So this one, Buff Dude's approved.
It's a little bit like a med ball trust fall. And this is the chance after you beat the shit out of the med ball in the last exercise for it to get a little bit of revenge. Because if you're not on your toes, if you don't catch that thing,
waste.
There we go, that wraps up day 1, stage 4 of power. 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 Yeah. See you next time for day 2. Rest up, recover. It's gonna be a tough one.
Stay buff.